Everyone, thanks for watching part one in my 7-part series on how to clean your wheels and tires on your car. I'm starting off with this versus moving to other stuff because for me, you start with the wheels and tires first before moving on to other things, and I'll get to that why in a second. This video is going to be focused on cleaning your wheel wells. This is actually a 2-part video, not a 2-part, I can say. There's a part A and a part B. The reason I have that is this is part A, and this is focusing with your wheels on your car and you're just cleaning the wheel wells. The real true professional way to do it is to take your wheels off. But due to safety, due to time, some people are just not comfortable doing that, may not even have the equipment to do that. So it's not always realistic to do it. So I want to show you guys 2 different versions of it. How to do it with your wheels off and how to do it with your wheels on. The principles are the same, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys both just to get a feel for it. This is going to be just what I believe most people do, honestly, including myself on a regular basis, cleaning your wheel wells, but cleaning it with the tires already on the car. So, no more talking. Let's get right to it. Okay, so I lied. We're not done talking yet. But I want to kind of explain a little bit more as we start off with the tires. So, there's a couple of reasons why you want to start off with the tires itself. So, first thing is when you're washing the wheels itself, the wheels get hit with everything. They get the road grime, they get the dirt, they make contact with the road. The only thing on your car that makes contact with the road. So if that's got a lot of exposure and it's been a while since you've cleaned it, especially, or any time, you may get some splash up onto the body of your car itself. Of course, if you see that happening and you've already washed the car, then you're just splashing that right back onto your already clean car. No point in doing that. So you start with the wheels first. The second thing is look at it in the reverse of it. If you wash your car completely first, so you clean your car, it's nice and shiny and looking good, and then after you've washed and cleaned your car, you then go to the wheels. Even if you're in a shaded area, the car is going to start drying off on its own. You're going to get watermarks and spots and everything like that. Conversely, if you do the wheels first, and you get that's going to, of course, happen. It's going to start drying off as you start moving on to your wheels, because these are 2 totally different processes, 2 separate processes. Of course, if you start with the wheels first and you move up to the car, the wheels don't have a time to really dry, because as you start cleaning the car, washing the car, then the water and stuff will fall on the wheels. You can keep it wet. So it's not going to have a lot of time to dry, but then you've already cleaned it off. You've got all the grime off. So it just makes sense to do the wheels first. So what do you need to get this job done? Well, just a couple things like this. These are just examples. These are sample products. It's not an endorsement of these products, and it also really will depend. You'll see that more in the video. But you need some sort of cleaner or something like that. So something, for example, this, which is a cleaner, and something to agitate when you are cleaning. So like a brush, or even this microfiber well, it's kind of like a microfiber brush, but there's a microfiber instead of a brush itself. This is also quite handy as well. You can see quite used. And then, of course, you need something to detail the inside of the wheel well, and you need something, for example, like this. And then, of course, I use a microfiber cloth to apply on, but an applicator will work just as well, an applicator brush. But it really will depend too, right? You'll see that further in the video because it depends on the materials that are inside the wheel well. So let's head over to that. Now, next you got to know what you're dealing with the wheel wells themselves, because there's actually different types of wheel wells, believe it or not. It really breaks down to 3 main types of wheel wells. I'm only going to be able to show you 2 here because I actually don't have a third car that has the third wheel well, but I'll tell you about that right off the bat. And that's when you just have bare metal on the inside. You may see that on pickup trucks, older cars, things like that. Then you have, for example, here on the rear wheel of this Infinity, where it's kind of this cloth material. Let me get it. Yeah, you see it? It's actually not plastic. It's a cloth, right? Then, of course, you have, like, for example, this GMC, where you have plastic, which is the most common. Plastic is by far the most common you see. So you want to assess and make sure you know which materials you're dealing with, because each one use different materials to clean, right? You also want to assess, as you're going to be in here, check for damage, check for anything, check if the plastic's broken. You know, you just want to get a good feel for what's going on in here, because while you're not going to be doing the repair today, you're focused on cleaning, it'll be a good opportunity to know, hey, I need to do something with the inside of my car. Alright, so now you're going to start spraying. There's a few things you can do. I mean, pressure washer works very well. So if you have a pressure washer, go for that. If you have a foam can or anything, that does work as well to help loosen it and loosen the grime and stuff in there. But, you know, for the regular person, you know, you're just going to have a hose and spray some water in there. It's good to have not like some hoses, for example. I'm just going to use something like this.
but some hoses are long, like, you know, the head of the hose will be very long. You want to use something like that because it'll be very awkward to get into some of the back of the tire. You'll see what I'll do in a second. But you want to use something that you can move around and be flexible. And don't be afraid to spray in there. You're not going to damage or hurt anything. So we're just going to get our hose. You start from the top and work your way down. Don't forget to get up into the wheel well. Some cars, many cars, will have a fold here. And if you have enough space, not every car does, you know, but if you have enough space, don't be afraid to get the hose in. And this is what I mean, you need the flexibility. Get into the back and spray around back as well. Alright, so this is where knowing your materials really come into play. So I'll be obviously showing you two here. Like I said, the third car, which is like a bare steel wheel well. I don't have any access to a car that has that, so I can't show you that. But if you're going to do that, I find the best thing to do is just a simple car wash and a sponge. And you just go in there and clean. You take your car washer bucket. You would just like if you're washing your car, but use a different sponge. Don't use a sponge you'd use in the wheel wells or the wheels on the body of the car itself. And then you start cleaning. And then afterwards you rinse out. So just like kind of like washing your car. But I'm going to show you here the one with fabric and also with plastic. So with fabric, I actually use an interior upholstery cleaner, a foam-based one. This does definitely help with lifting out the dirt. So let me show you here, for example. I'm going to show you right in here. Give you an example. Obviously, you can spray the whole thing, but I don't want to just do that. I'll take some time, but I'll just show you what I mean. So this, I'm just going to use Simonize here. And you just spray in. Something that foams. I'll just show you one section here. So you just leave it a second so it can start lifting out the dirt. I'm missing this section here. Oh. And it looks like the nozzle on my Simonize is starting to go. That's okay, we'll just latch it on. Okay. Now, once you got it on there, either moisten the brush if you can use the one on here, or use just a good solid brush. Make sure you moisten it. Shake it out. You don't want it dripping, just moist. You're just going to go in there and start agitating it, right? Work it around. If you even have a smaller, like a toothbrush sized one, it's good because getting into some areas, like up along the inside of the lip or anything like that, sometimes some cars, this car you can kind of do it, but some cars you can't. So, you know, it's good to have that, you know, a section over here, for example, where it dips in by the trim plug. You know, getting this maybe a little bit harder than just getting the little brush and going in there, right? So again, you're just going to go in now. You're going to start agitating. Now, I'm just doing a section here, but you'll do this for the entirety of your wheel well, right? Oh, and I love the smoky stuff. Now, what you also want to do, and this is where it's good having a smaller brush, is once you've sprayed and you spray in there, you want to reach in and reach back and agitate back there as well, right? Assuming you've sprayed. I'm not going to do the whole thing because that'll be a lot of time for you guys, but the methodologies and application is all the same. Once you've done that, just go ahead, grab your water, and you're going to spray it out. Although I haven't cleaned this part here, so spray it all around, get everywhere, get up into the crevices, everything. So plastic, like the front wheel well here, Similar idea, except different material. So I would use a wheel cleaner, actually, something like this. And I would use actually two, depending on space, two brushes. One, you can definitely use a brush similar to what we use for the material, for the cloth material. Or actually like using something like this, which is just a microfiber. As you can see, it's a little bit worn. It actually works very well though. And it's great also for tires, and rims, sorry. Not tires, but the rims. Watch for that in a different video. But this here I like to use as well. And it's the same idea. It depends on, again, how much space you have. If you have enough space, this is really the best thing to go with. But if not, you can go with this here. Like, for example, a car that's lower profile or anything. If you need some space, you can get in here. It's great for something like that. But the principles are all the same here. And again, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm only going to spray one section, but you do the entirety of the wheel well. So we're just going to go here, and you're just going to, once you've wet it, you don't have to go nuts on it, but you spray it down fairly liberally. I'm going to move a little quicker, but you want to normally at least give it 30 seconds or so, a minute. Even if you're, depending on the product you use, maybe read the directions just to see how long it says. Some of them say 15 seconds, like for example, this one says 15 seconds. So just give it a little bit. And then after that, going to grab the brush, make sure it's moist, not wet, but moist. I'm going to go in and start agitating in here as well. You know, with a brush like this, you have enough that you can get into the back, no problem. But you'll find a brush like this cannot get down here. And that is where my microfiber friend comes in. Right? So you go in here, and while it's not as aggressive, it's not as rough, the microfibers definitely helps pick up the dirt. You can scrub in there. And then once done, the same thing applies. You're just going to spray, rinse out. Get a little bit on the car, that's okay. Again, you just want to just avoid getting the whole car wet for now. And I'll sit there. Then you let it dry. You let it dry for a few minutes. Let's say approximately 10 minutes. You actually see the difference here to there. I mean, mind you, I just sprayed here, but still. So you just give it about 10 to 15 minutes depending on your weather conditions. Let it dry, and then you move on to your prep for dressing it. So we're going to go ahead and now, first I'm going to show you the difference. You can see that has not been cleaned at all. It's got a little bit of dust, dirt, and everything here. Here has been cleaned. A little bit of dust, but not too bad. And of course, if you want to go over it again and agitate it even further, you could. So now, what do you do to protect it? Well, as I told you before, if you're doing where it's just the bare metal of the car in here, you would do the same thing you would do with the body of the car. Look over here. And you'll go ahead and just put some spray wax. You can use paste wax if you want, or a liquid wax. I just use a spray because it's just in the wheel wells. And you just put some spray wax in, and then use microfiber cloth and do just your usual wax on, wax off, and you're good to go. But what about the cloth material in here? Well, what I use actually, for example, is some Scotch Guard or any type of fabric protector. And you apply just like you would if you were, doing it on the interior of the car, right? So you just go in and you're going to spray in smooth, even motions. Alright, and you just leave that to soak into the material. This is going to help protect it and keep, stuff is going to hit it. Let's face it. Honestly, this is the wheels, right? The wheels are going to get hit with all sorts of stuff. As soon as you start driving, stones and rocks will pitch up on it. But it'll certainly help in protecting it and keeping that off as much as possible. Word of warning, and Scotch Guard does warn about this, but any you use, if you get any on the body of the car, if you have any like steel materials or anything, let's say you see exposed metal in there, do clean it off. It does stain. It can stain that stuff, so make sure you do that. But you can certainly see the difference. You can see the spray is just kind of ended right around there. Now, conversely, if you're dealing with the interior over here, as you can see, I've just done the basic cleaning. I actually probably could have done a bit better, to be honest. But for the sake of the video, you got the idea. And you can certainly see the difference with here that has not been cleaned. So we're just going to use, again, this is just really like doing almost like your trim or your tires. So I'm going to be using some Hot Shine, but any type of trim, exterior trim or tire spray will work on a plastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray on here. And just like I would if I was using any type of trim or tire thing, is I'm going to go in with a microfiber. I'm going to go and work it in. Watch you don't get onto the body of the car, and if you do, make sure you clean that off. It does stain or leave marks on there. You're just going to work it around and in. Your hand in there. Whoops. Straighten that back out. There we go. I'm just going to work it around there. You can see it's a huge difference. And pulling away, you can see how that looks on the inside. Definitely a difference and definitely worth doing. So now after you've done, as you can see now, I've gone and sprayed down the entire, more or less, in here in the wheel well. After you've gone ahead and done that, you want to do a spot check, kind of like what I'm doing now, and see if any spots got missed. Let's see, for example, like right up there. So you do a final spot check and you kind of hit your any areas you may have missed. Over here could use a little bit more detail, and you just kind of do that, and you go through, you check, and you kind of get everything over done. I'll tell you that normally when I do my detailing, so although I'm doing this as one video on the cleaning of the wheel wells, you space it out correctly. So normally when I do the washing of the wheel wells, so where I did the before the detailing, when I wash that, I clean the tires and the wheels as well. Because if you go and detail now your wheel wells like this, and then you decide to wash your tires and rims, when you spray the water on here, the splash over is going to get on there. But the reason I didn't do this all in one video is because cleaning your tires and rims is a separate process. I don't want this video to be too long. Just doing the wheel wells as it is taking a few minutes. So I'm going to watch part 2 for stuff like that. Also, again, if you want to see how to do this process, exact process, but the wheels off the car, check the next video. That's going to be the one that's going to cover that. So, was the video helpful? I hope it was. Although I do a lot of talking in the videos, I know sometimes, and really what I'm trying to do is explain the hows and whys, just not do it. So hopefully the video has been helpful. But although this video took, I don't know, maybe 6-7 minutes, doing the whole process of cleaning your wheel wells, once you really get the hang of it and everything, only takes a couple minutes to do. But it really is the first step of cleaning your entire car, because you start with the wheels, and before you get to the wheels, you do the wheel wells. Do the wheel wells, clean the wheels, and clean the rest of the car, and then you do your detailing, right? So keep that in mind when you're doing it. But this is going to be the kind of closeout for part 1A, I guess you could say. Part 1B, we'll kind of look at doing the wheel wells with the tires off, as I mentioned previously. And then I'm going to explore other things with you guys in parts 2, 3, and 4, including things like cleaning the tires and the rims, clay bars, all sorts of stuff, all right? So make sure to check those out too. If you liked the video, make sure to like it. Show me some love there. Subscribe if you want to subscribe and see more stuff. Comment if there's anything you want to add. If you see something I liked and you think you could do a little bit different, a little bit better, anything like that, hey, leave it in the comments. I want to make this kind of a community. Everyone can come together and kind of talk about it. Of course, if you dislike it, let me know why as well. I want to make the content better. But other than that, I'll see you in part 1B, I guess you could say. And also in the future, thank you very much for watching.